What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Wednesday night, not just Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Let's Play tonight, we're also going to talk Andor. But before we do that, Dave, Doug, how's it going?
I am grand. Thanks for asking. And I did enjoy Andor this morning. I didn't get to it before Doug because he texted me before I got to watch it. But, oh, that show just keeps getting better. What about you, Doug? How are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. And
Very
you know,
nice.
all right. I was gonna save this until a little later, but let me tell you why I am outstanding. Go ahead and reach for my secret stash here real quick. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, that's the good
You got the
stuff.
blue milk?
Mmm. Oh yeah, not that nasty white milk. That stuff is gross. Who would want?
Well, did you get any of the?
Throw that out. I want good, all natural, delicious blue milk. And
Did you get any of that awesome
little...
cereal they had?
Yeah, okay, I have to fully admit, I spent perhaps way too long trying to Google green and chocolate cereal orbs to try and figure out what it was.
Yeah.
I even went so far as I was trying to go through the credits, which I don't normally do. Probably should do that more. Trying to go through the credits to find out who the food stylist was, so I could tweet at them. But they're not on Twitter.
Yeah, it's nutty with those. They look like little planet Earths, you know. But planet Earths get blue milk. No, Terra.
Space Boston. Hey, there's only a couple places in the galaxy: is Space Boston, Tatooine, and Jakku.
And there's a Mount Space Everest.
Of course there is, Morty.
Oh, look at that. 6 minutes in. All right, Keith. Well, how are you doing there, buddy?
Thanks for asking. I am tremendous. Great day. Any day we get to watch a great show like Andor, always worth the time invested. But while we're here, should we just start talking Andor? Should we kick this thing off right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you silly.
Oh, yeah.
Want the blue milk?
Actually, before we start talking Andor, hold on one moment.
Absolutely.
We should.
Nope. I'm not holding on.
We should probably do this. I turned the sound down a little bit on the spoilers thing, so you know we are going to be talking spoilers tonight about Andor Episode 5. So if you haven't seen it, maybe catch the stream on YouTube.
I forgot about the spoilers thing. I made the damn thing. I forgot about it. Whoops.
I didn't, because I know how well done it is. So we are talking spoilers. Tundra Walker, I don't know if you've seen it yet. If you have, stay on. If you haven't, and you don't want it spoiled for you, maybe go watch it and watch this on YouTube at a later date. But, he has watched it.
Seen it.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, that is fantastic.
As you should.
Now we're going to head back to get rid of that and come back to live on Twitch. I mean, if you would have told me coming into this week that we were not going to see the heist this week, but I would still love the episode. I wouldn't think that is possible. But they did such a great job of showing, how every scene was extremely tense between these people and showing the pressure, not only getting to the people doing the heist, which I think Cassian had a nice line about later in the episode, but also with, Real, him, we saw him at the end, and, it's like, just turn it off. You're not going to hear anything tonight. Clean some coins. Do something useful. So we can see the pressure kind of getting to him, and we also saw the pressure getting to Mon Mothma and trying to, deal with her family. So they're doing a really good job. And one of the notes I took, I loved, they said everyone has their own rebellion.
Yep.
And I think the writers took that to heart and is using it to explain every character and what they're going through in the forming, of the rebellion or getting the alliance kicked off. And I just think every character is deep. The writing is excellent, and I just cannot say enough good things about this.
it deepens the plot too. It's just such good. That's the kind of good writing I'm looking for. Like when I say add character depth, and character development. This is the kind of writing I'm talking about. When you see that kind of glanced over in some of these movies, and then I complain about it. That's what I mean. I gotta see the motivation for these characters, and I think you can see the motivation for every character in there.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
To tell a good story.
They made that even more clear when they took time to actually have each one of the members of the heist crew kind of explain their reason for joining the rebellion. And I like that. I thought that it was a nice, quick way. We didn't have to, spend an entire episode on each one of them delving deep into a flashback and everything. No, they just kind of got right to the point. This is why I joined. One person's like, yeah, I'm literally just out here for revenge. That's it. And it's like, okay, cool. That makes sense.
And Tundra Walker said, yes, it was the best Go Nowhere episode I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power should take notes.
So a little quick anime nerd thing. Any time that you see one of those like Dragon Ball Z style anime where they spend like 15 minutes in the opening of the episode recapping what happened in the last episode, and they give you like 5 minutes of actual episode, and then the next one is just a filler that has nothing to do with the main plot. And there's enough of those out there. Anyone who watches our channel that also watches anime knows that this is a thing. I thought at first when they were like, oh yeah, we're just gonna get to know the characters a little better. I'm like, is this gonna be like one of those filler episodes? And I was surprised that it wasn't. I liked it.
We got a lot of good things.
Not only do you learn, like, all right, you say that one guy he just said he wanted revenge, and then you're like, all right, so how he's gonna act when he gets pinned down in a certain situation. He's not going to sit in there and think about morals. He's just going to be like, you're going to die. I'm going to kill you. If it's me, if it's me or you, it's you. You know what I mean? But whereas some people might have, like with their differing backstory, might have a moral dilemma in a situation like that,
Well, and I really liked the scene too, where he's like, I want to know why the lieutenant's doing this. I need to know his motivation. He goes, everyone else here knows it. I want to know it too. And she's like, he basically fell in love with one of the indigenous women, ended up not working, but he got busted down for doing it. And they've really done a good job of not everyone just being, oh, we hate the Empire.
I love that they also expanded on that when he was, talking to one of the other Imperials, one of the Imperial guards, and he's looking over that bridge, kind of like looking out at everything, and you could tell that, guys like, oh yeah, you can smell him from here, I can't stand it, and then this lieutenant was like, he kind of had the opposite reaction. And he goes, oh, yes, I know.
Well, remember, he goes, there's only 50 or something now. He goes, just think if there was 1,000, that smell. He goes, oh, I can imagine, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he was thinking of his lost. Yes. And then,
he hates the Empire, too.
Yes.
So Tundra Walker.
Oh, Tundra Walker hates it. Okay, good.
Well, then he could be on the heist crew.
He could be in the. You son of a bitch! I'm in.
I'm in. Your talents are needed for a job.
Why are you joining the crew? Because I was dating this one girl and they killed her. Oh, okay, sure.
Let me at him. Well, and I think it went a long way to there's a lot of mistrust.
Oh, yeah.
With Clem joining the crew when he did, with the guy finding that crystal that's worth 30,000 credits.
When they find out that he's a mercenary and that he doesn't have like a cause.
Well, and I think that helped.
Go ahead.
I think that helped a lot. That he was being honest with them. He didn't make up some bullshit story. He's like, okay, listen, I'm getting paid to do it. And they were all like, okay, that's not what we expected, but
right.
Obviously he's being honest with us, so maybe. But I think he also showed his true colors. I loved when he was like, you guys don't know how to fly this. If I wasn't here, what would you do? And he's like, I'm flying it. And they're like, oh, he goes, no, I'm flying it. If it's my ass on the line, I'm flying us out of here. Because at least if they know anything, he wants to live. So he's going to help them get out too. I mean, they've just done such a great job of explaining why everything's happening and why people are doing it. not everyone being the same. There's depth everywhere in this.
Speaking of that scene, I love the fact that they had not thought of what they were going to do. Like, they didn't know where the gauge was that they were talking about. And they literally had to ask him, like, oh, hypothetically, like, if you were to happen to know where would you say it would be again? He goes, you don't know. Oh my God,
Yeah.
What was your plan? You don't know.
And check out their posture while they're doing it, too, because they're just, like, coming down as they're the authority.
Right?
And then he realizes that you're going to come at me, but you don't know shit. So basically, I'm in charge now. And like when he left, he said, he even said, like, you can say it's your idea. I don't care, but I'm doing this.
Also, that ties back to the beginning of the episode. I love how, I'm sorry, I keep gushing because I love how so many of these scenes fit together and they tie together. Going back to the beginning of the episode when we see that really sad, depressing breakfast with Cyril, our former corporal officer, with his blue milk and his mint chocolate cereal that I need to find out what the heck it is. But when we see that, his mother says to him, you can't just turn leadership on and off. And I think that holds true for Cassian Andor as well.
I think it does. And I love the scene between him and his mother. I mean, you don't have any prospects, do you? And just the back and forth that they had. It was like the last place he wants to be is at his mom's house.
I did, for a minute, though, I did feel for him, like, in the very beginning, as he's watching the sunrise, and, like, he looks so sad. I'm just like, oh, dude, I feel you. You lost your job. You lost your house. You lost everything. You lost your purpose. Like, that sucks.
Well, remember my theory palooza from last week. That female security officer is going to find him and question him, and he is going to find his purpose again in helping her find Cassian Andor, because that's what he wants to do.
Oh, yeah, because at the very, I guess we'll jump to the end real quick. At the very end, that's how it ends, with him looking at the holodisc or whatever, and he's which I'm surprised nobody confiscated that. You'd think that would be like classified documents that, maybe he shouldn't hide in his personal home. Like when you give up your post at the government and you're done with it, you're not supposed to hang on to classified documentation and information. You're supposed to, like, turn that in. But he didn't.
Well, I have two things to say about all this. His mom could have gave him a little bit of time. I mean, he walks in the door and she's already trying to find him a job. Hey, he just lost his job from what he just wanted his whole life to be. Give him a day or two, just let him be depressed or relax. And the other thing is, I still don't think he's going to go to the Empire. I don't think he's going that way. I think sees what the Empire's doing, and he's going to go to the rebellion. That's what I think.
I agree.
Theory palooza Dave.
I agree with both of you. No. Hey, you get to silver lining. You don't get to steal the reel it in. You got to pay Dave royalty fees for that.
Yeah, come on. It's at least 5 cents right there.
Gotcha.
At least. But no.
Remind me of Black Adam.
I agree that with Keith, where he says that, he thinks that one officer is going to come and question him and get him to help. And I do think that will happen. I think that he's going to find, like, a temporary purpose doing that. But he's only been a corporate officer before. And we know that he's got a sense of duty and a sense of what he feels is right. Because in his mind, people got murdered, and he needs to put a stop to it. But I think once he starts working with Imperials and the Empire, and he realizes how a lot of it is all selfish and they sweep things under the rug, I think that's what's going to make him realize, oh shit, I don't want to be a part of this. And I think that's what will drive him to the rebellion, Dave.
So you're saying both our theories are true?
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yes,
Doug's theory is like an S.
Nice silver lining, Doug. Doug, you owe me a nickel for silver lining our theories.
All right.
We gotta start keeping track.
Can I pay you in blue milk?
Of course. I mean, like a thimble of blue milk is worth 2 nickels at least.
Only if you swish it around your mouth first.
Okay. Whatever you're into.
Are you setting up that game there, Keith?
No, it's already set up. It's already set up going. I did, one of the other things I loved how the kind of episode ended. before the 45 minutes of credits, and he Real or Lucen, whoever he really is, was like, Ordo will all be starting. Like, this is the point. This is the point in time where if this is successful,
Yep.
it's turning into a rebellion, and it's going to be pushing forward from there. I just thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, they've used their dialogue very well on this show. Like, where you can see it transcending not just the scene it's in, but to the meaning to all the characters, like Doug pointed out earlier. Like, when she's talking to her son, and it has a dual meaning.
Yep.
For the other characters. It's really clever writing. It's been what's missing.
And now Tundra Walker wants to know, why is the milk blue? Is blueberry milk a thing? I'm assuming you're asking not because Doug has the blue milk, but why the milk is blue in a galaxy far, far away.
Because white milk is an abomination and it's disgusting. We throw it on the ground.
And we throw it on the ground.
What was the color of milk that Luke had in Last Jedi? Was that green?
It was blue.
Yeah, it was green. That he milked
green.
directly from the thing into his and then oh god, Ray just looking like, oh no, you're the guy that's supposed to train me?
You've been here too long,
The
dude.
green milk dripping from his beard. No, should I do that? Should I slurp it around and have it drip from my
No.
Will it get up
I would
close to the
say no. I'm against it.
So any final thoughts on Andor? Any theory paloozas for what's next week?
I don't know if you guys are thinking the same thing as me, but I'm pretty sure that next episode we're gonna see a heist. Let me lay out my 15 points as to why. No, just teasing. No, I just think that next episode they're gonna finally get to it, and I think that this episode was like the calm before the storm. That's the way that I view it. Like, once we got towards the end and we see him, like, waving the torch and everything, and we see how, antsy everybody is, and we see that, like, Mon Mothma's, like, on the verge of losing her family, that all these people have so much stake in this. Like, this lieutenant could get found out. Like, he could not only be putting himself in danger, but the way that the Empire works, he could very well be putting his entire crew in danger that works there. Whether they're good or bad, they're, soldiers that have a job, and like the two guys, for instance, that he gives the time off to, they didn't seem necessarily like Imperial evil, but want some time off.
Yeah, and he's spending time talking to these people.
Yeah. Oh, he was all over the base.
Yeah,
that was a great scene too, where he's like, "I told you this needed to be painted. We're doing it tomorrow night," and they're like, everybody, this is the worst base you can be assigned to, and the only good thing about it is if you get to see the eye. Don't do this to us. And he's like, okay, but you let them know that it's painted, the next night. And they got off lucky this time. So they're going to be thinking more about that than thinking about security or anyone coming into the base, to steal payroll. I thought that was a nice little touch to kind of throw the Imperials off for that day to hopefully help that crew be successful.
I assumed what he was doing is, I felt like he was covering his tracks. In the event that they still needed to have some sort of operations on that planet, that they still needed him for his cover, that he would still have his in. He can say, I don't know what you're talking about. I was never working with them. I was clearly, you can ask this person, these two people, and that person up there. I was making my rounds. I've literally been to every inch of this base. There is, I hate those rebels just as much as the next guy. I took it as that's what he was doing. He wanted to make sure that as many witnesses as possible saw him actively being a lieutenant.
And his men like him.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to stand up for him, too. And one of the things I wanted to point out was that, remember when he dropped Lothran? I think his name's Lothran? When he dropped off, when he dropped off Clem, he told him, he gave him the necklace. He said, I'll see you in 5 days. So it's been 2 days. So each of these shows is a day. That's what I'm guessing. That's why he woke up in the hammock at the beginning of the show. Day 2.
It seems to be going that way, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tundra Walker said, I think they steal the diamond from the casino. Yes. Canto Blight. But, one of the things I think, too, we saw, the female internal officer or whatever, I can't remember the acronym they had. We saw her kind of piecing things together and going, look, this is too random to be random. If I was doing
yeah.
something together, I would be doing it this way. I think this heist, while it's not going to go perfect, they are going to pull it off for the most part. And that's going to be the one thing that she's going to key in on and kind of start putting this all together. And that's why she needs, Cyril, stop eating his cereal and milk, to kind of figure out it's Cassie and Andor was there and kind of start piecing this all together, because I don't think we're going to see much more from the crew that he's working with on this job. I think Dave's
Can I make a
right.
prediction about that crew?
Oh, yeah.
So the one girl that he referred to as the healer that he was getting a little close with, and the one other girl had to say, "Hey, you know what? You need to focus on this and stop getting. You're getting a little too. She's gonna die."
Well, they're a gay couple. That's why she wanted away from him.
Oh, that I didn't know. I didn't realize that. I must have missed that scene.
Yeah, they mentioned they were sleeping in the same hammock.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, either way, I think she's gonna die.
Probably.
She hasn't had too many lines, so.
Well, when the minute he called her like a healer, I'm like, oh yeah, no.
One of the guys called her the toughest one on the crew.
Yep, she's definitely gonna die then.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fortunately, R.I.P. She's gone.
Yeah.
But
just like which sister? Third sister, fifth sister? Which
fifth
one?
sister.
Fifth sister.
Fourth sister.
Fourth sister?
Yeah, fourth sister.
I don't remember which one. All we know is that Keith has marked her for death.
She needs to die. And the fact that she hasn't yet, still, I'm penning an angry letter to the Lucasfilm, Disney Plus, anyone I can.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen, yes.
They're gonna give her own show so she can just die for Keith.
It'll be one episode long.
Yeah, they're gonna go with a special.
That would be awesome. Well, it's funny you say that. Before we get into Guardians of the Galaxy tonight, too, there is some other news. But before I jump into that, it's funny you say that, Dave, because there was a report coming out that Marvel Studios might be leaning towards having more special presentations instead of series. So instead of like a 6-episode series for a bunch of like Nova, Wonder Man, some of these series might just be special presentations and not an actual series. So that hasn't been confirmed by anybody, but it's been a rumor floating around there today. And there's another rumor that has been all but confirmed by Marvel Studios. A lot of the trades have talked about it. And usually once the trades start talking about it, there's probably some inkling of truth within it. But Michael Waldron, the writer for Loki and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, is writing Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars, for Marvel Studios. Now it's early.
That's a rumor or is it confirmed?
It hasn't been confirmed by Marvel Studios, but like the big trades have been talking about it. And normally when they start printing stories like that, it's true. They have their people, and they don't print it until they, till they know for sure. So, oh my God.
Well, that news does not excite me.
Well,
I mean, I know he wrote for Rick and Morty,
yeah.
but I didn't like either of the two shows that you mentioned there.
Yeah, Loki. I think
it was average at best.
See, I beg to differ about Loki. I think Loki was fantastic. Now, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, while it had some good stuff in it, I think they tried to fit too much in it. It's still good, but it's a little bloated. But he's Tundra Walker says Dave wins. But I really enjoyed Loki, and I think him writing Loki and writing Doctor Strange, hopefully he has some inside knowledge on where they wanted to go for Secret Wars, and hopefully kind of put some of that in his back shows.